Well, it's a different kind of coffee with Brent today. It is Sunday, May 31st, and yesterday we had a family gathering at my sister's lake house to celebrate my youngest son graduating from high school. Things have been kind of weird already with the COVID-19 pandemic. So we had a good time, and towards the end of the party, I got out my phone and, I was aware that of the terrible tragedy and senseless, I would say senseless killing of George Floyd, but I didn't realize what was happening until I got on Twitter, which is kind of it's a cesspool, but sometimes you have to look into the cesspool to see what's going on. And I saw how much um, protests were turned into rioting. I don't want to talk about looting. I think that's a different thing. Those are opportunist. Um, but there's protesting turning into rioting turning into violence, and man, it's discouraging. Um, I think with any event that happens, there's the actual facts of the event, and then the narrative we place on it. And I'm speaking now not to try to spin anything that's happened, but to just make a point that everything we experience in life, there's the actual experience itself, and then the narrative and the beliefs about it that we place on it affect how we experience it. And if you're not careful, you can take a simple hello, a simple greeting from somebody, and turn it into a wound. What does this have to do with the events that are going on? Um, I would say that me, as a white person, a Caucasian, upper middle class, I've come in the last couple of years to really realize how fundamentally different the experience is in America for someone who's an African American. Um, if you have friends that are black, that are African American, chances are, there's a good possibility they've been pulled over for DWB, driving while black. It's not the same experience I've had. And so I really try to be open to um, understanding that. So I have a view of police that is neutral to positive. I know there are some bad apples, like in anything, but I also know that there seems to be, you know, let's just put it this way: there's a reason that internal affairs departments exist on police forces. It's because uh, the police force, just like everybody else, uh, employs flawed people. Um, so where I'm going with this is that I think for many African Americans, their personal experience with with law enforcement is tainted to some degree. I also think that there's a narrative that they experience in their life from friends, friends of friends, and through mass media that makes it, I must say makes it feel, I'm going to say that heightens and magnifies the negativity. And I think that's a lot of the reasons that we see some of the violence that's going on in uh, in the country this weekend. Um, it it hurts. I saw someone yesterday on a Facebook group say something that, that's why people hate us. So it's a African American person. I said, I responded like, I don't hate you, and I'm sorry the world is so messed up that you feel that way. So, um, my brother-in-law sent me a manuscript of a book he just wrote. It's called Hope Rises. I sure hope it does, because things feel kind of down right now. And a few days ago, I read in my one-year Bible a scripture that's kind of famous in church circles. Like 2 Chronicles 7:14. It says, now keep in mind, this is God speaking about Israel, his chosen people. But I think the principle is there. It says, if my people, so this is when something bad has happened and they feel lost, the people. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, I'll forgive their sin, and I will heal their land. Of course, that's the Lord speaking. And I thought, man, it's so hard to do those things. We don't want to humble ourselves. To humble yourself means to realize you might be wrong, that there might be another way of seeing things, that you don't know everything, and to pray, just to take time to talk to God, which starts with humbling yourself and realizing you need God. And then to seek his face means not just to do it on a cursory, superficial level, on what you think you know about God, but to really seek him, to understand him, to dig into his word, and turn from your wicked ways. Who knows what wicked ways he's talking about there? Um, in coding and development, one little bit of wrong code way over there can affect a function that seems completely unrelated. The idea that we might turn from our wicked ways, I think most of us don't want to admit that there are wicked ways and that we have wicked ways within us. So all those things need to happen, you know, and he'll forgive our sins, hear from heaven, heal our land. I feel like we need healing. So I'm going to shut this off and do a little more praying, and I hope you will too.